Hi everyone, my name is Şeyma. I am from Turkey. I am an international student at Gallaudet University and I am currently pursuing my Doctor of Audiology in here. So I am recording this workshop because I have a class named Professional Issues and it requires me to come up with a project idea that potentially can contribute to our field. So as an international student, I thought that during my application process, my residency application, and for my future career, I have experienced a lot of challenges, and I always had to overcome these difficulties by myself. So I thought that this is kind of an issue that we don't really have many resources for international students who are planning to pursue their education in the United States or who are currently pursuing their Doctor of Audiology degree in the United States. So I am hoping that this workshop will be helpful for those who are pursuing or planning to pursue their Doctor of Audiology degree in the United States. End of my workshop, I will share this in the YouTube and I will leave a link. So if you could give me a feedback, and also if you like to share your phone number, I'm planning to create a WhatsApp support group for sharing the information or answering the questions. All right, let's get started. I will share my screen in here. I need to remove myself. And then, all right, so as I said, I'm going to talk about Doctor of Audiology program in United States for international students. So what you will learn from this workshop first, I will mention about application process, and then I will give Doctor of Audiology program overview. I will talk about externship, and then as the last, I will mention about career options and work authorization. So introduction, individuals completing Doctor of Audiology degree are prepared for independent clinical practice in areas of auditory and vestibular assessment and treatment and reimbursement from third-party payers for these services. Individuals completing an AUD, which is Doctor of Audiology, will be prepared to be leaders of the field and will be competent to interact with other doctoring professionals involved in hearing healthcare. So let's continue with application process. So the international students have some differences as for required documents compared to other students who are from United States. So the first one is language score. So you have to get a certain score from language to be able to eligible Doctor of Audiology program in the United States. So I will go deeper with the language score in my next slide. So I will not talk a lot about this right now. GRE. GRE is graduate record exam, and it is standardized test created and administered by the Educational Testing Service, commonly known as ETS, that is designed to measure overall academic readiness for graduate school. Some graduate programs require that applicants take not only the general test, but also a GRE subject test that assess technical knowledge in a specific discipline like physics, phonology, psychology, or mathematics. Currently in the United States, some universities waive their GRE requirement. So it is not an easy exam. So when you apply, if you don't have a good GRE score, you might apply to the universities that actually don't require a GRE score. The other thing that you will need to provide is official transcript. This official transcript needs to come from your home country where you studied your undergraduate degree, and it should mail with closed envelope to the United States. I will give more information and details about official transcript. So right now I'm not going to talk a lot about this. The other thing that is important is personal statement. So personal statement is a chance to get noticed for the unique talents and experiences you have. It is an important part of the application process, and it is an opportunity to talk about yourself and your passions about outside of your grades. So I want to state something in here that I didn't know. Personal statement is a very important criteria when they decide, or like when they make an offer from a graduate program. And as international students, we don't really have so much experience with personal statements. Students from United States, they have tendency to write personal statement more oftenly for their scholarship application, undergraduate application. In a lot of places, this is a requirement, so they actually get used to write a personal statement. But for us, because we don't have much experience writing personal statement, sometimes we have hard time expressing ourselves, our strengths. So this sometimes can be disadvantage for us. That's why this is very important. After we write our personal statement, we can get proofreading, we can ask other people their opinions. So yeah, that is important thing to consider. And 3 recommendations letter. So these recommendation letters describes a person's qualifications and skills as they are related to their education. In these letters, they will discuss your qualities, capabilities as a good fit for a graduate program. And the other thing that you will need to provide when you apply to the Doctor of Audiology program is resume or CV. So in here, you will list your experiences, clinical, educational, research. You will also mention about your certification, how many languages you speak. Actually, language is important in audiology field because as a healthcare professionals, we will work with diverse group of people. So speaking more than one language actually is a plus. So this is not for all the universities, but average is a minimum 3 GPA requirement. There is a minimum 3 GPA requirement. In some universities, it's 350. In some of them, they say if you have 250, they can, if you pass, if you have a good grade for certain classes, you can still be eligible to apply. So this is just typical GPA that I am sharing with you. So the other that in previous slide that I told, I'm gonna go with more details about language score. So you can either take TOEFL, IELTS, Duolingo. TOEFL is Test of English as a Foreign Language. It's acronym for this. So this shows some varieties. This changes between 74 to 110. So it's depending on the university. Again, it's changing. So before you apply to a university, you want to see actually what universities you're eligible for, because if you have only 74 or 80 as a TOEFL score, you might actually not be eligible to the universities which ask for 100 score from TOEFL. The other exam that you can take is IELTS. It is International English Language System. So they require, usually universities require between 6 to 6.5. But again, this depends on the university. And the other thing that I recently started to hear, Duolingo. So some universities don't accept Duolingo, but what I heard that students saying that Duolingo actually easier compared to TOEFL and IELTS. So if your university accept Duolingo as a language score, and if you didn't get great scores from TOEFL or IELTS, you might think to take Duolingo exam as well. So as an official transcript, you will actually need to get official course by course credential evaluation for your transcripts. And I use World Education Services for that. There are other two I will share with you. This is just, I have experience with this. That's why I wanted to share. It's around $160, and your school will mail your school, like undergraduate degree from your home country, will mail it to World Education Services directly with a closed envelope, and then they will do everything for you if you pay the amount. So it wasn't very challenging for me, and you can actually ask for receiving a copy for multiple places. And so there are, most of the schools require these course by course credential evaluation to be from member of National Association of Credential Evaluation Services. So rather than VEST, there are other options that you can consider. You can check the cost and criteria, and whichever works best for you, can work with them. So let's continue with program overview. So what you can expect from the program. So again, this is just for a typical program. This depends on the university. There are a lot of varieties between the universities, but as a just typical, it is number of credits that are required is 93. Typical number of, so this 93 includes academic and clinical courses. Typical number of years to complete is 3 to 4. Some universities, most of the time it's 4, but there are some universities that you can complete in 3 years. Semester in on-site clinic is 4. Semester in off-site clinic is 3 usually. The residency takes 1 year usually, and prerequisites are 5 undergraduate hearing and speech courses in specific areas. And again, this depends on the university. Sometimes this requirement might be different depending on the university. And typical cohort size 6 to 13, but there are universities which accepts 20, 23 students as well. So what to consider when applying to an AUD program? So cost is one of the biggest concern about a program in the United States as an international student. So you want to get the best quality of the education with most cost-effective way. So for this, each university shows differences. So you need to go to the website of the university, Doctor of Audiology Program, and then you need to find out how much does it cost for international students. And there is separation between non-developing countries and developing countries. Developing countries are usually getting more discount compared to non-developing countries. So you need to consider all of these. Scholarship opportunities. This is important. So some universities are maybe more expensive compared to other ones, but they provide actually a lot of scholarship opportunities. So if they do that, maybe the more affordable university you think might be more expensive compared to the other university which provides more scholarship opportunities. So scholarship is important. And length of the program. So as I said, some programs require 3 years completion time, some 4 years. If it is 3 years, maybe it's more cost effective for you. But at the same time, you need to think that you will have to do more work, and if you will be able to overcome this. And the other consideration that was very important for me, that might not be very important for other people, but I think diversity is also important because you want to feel comfortable in the environment. And when there is a diversity, people from different countries, people with color, or like deaf individuals. So this diversity actually helps you to feel like you're at home, you're relaxed, you're happy environment. So I think this is an important factor when you want to apply universities. And the other thing is social activities on campus. So audiology is very challenging program, but at the same time, you want to have some fun and enjoy your time on campus. So this might be something that you might want to consider. I'm closing this. Okay. Maybe this is better. Yeah. And the other thing is clinical opportunities. So this is an important factor as well when you apply to an AUD program. So are they providing internship opportunities? How many internship opportunities you will get? And what sites they do have? And some universities actually require you to find your own internship. So if it is the case, it might be more challenging. So you might maybe want to look for the university that actually provide and find the placements for you. The other thing is research opportunities. So some universities have great research lab. They give you more opportunity to conduct research. They support you on that. And if you are someone maybe after AUD want to do PhD as well, then this might be an important criteria for you before you apply to a Doctor of Audiology program. And the other thing that you might want to research is supervisors and professors. So what is their experiences look like and what their education look like. For this, actually, the previous students from the university that you are planning to apply for might be a good resource to reach out and ask their opinion, their ideas about this. And scholarship resources. This is an important step because we need scholarship to be able to pay our tuition. So I don't know where to put myself, really. Okay. So scholarship and funding resources. Universities that you are planning to apply for are your best resources for finding scholarship. So you should contact with International Student Office to see if they actually provide scholarship for international students. For example, let's say you received some amount of scholarship, but it is not enough you to pursue your education still. Then you can actually check with graduate program. So they might have some scholarship opportunities for you. So you can actually get scholarship from 2 resources that might actually help more for your pursuing education at that university. And teaching assistantship, research assistantship, these also give you opportunity to get paid to pay your tuition. Graduate assistantship usually covers your first year of It's fully covered usually. So this is great that you don't need to worry about paying your first year tuition. The other resource that you can apply for is American Speech Language Hearing Association. This is a scholarship for international students. United citizens cannot apply to this scholarship. The amount of the scholarship that they are given is $5,000. And the other thing is that Fulbright, so international educational exchange program sponsored by the United States government. And for Fulbright, your home country's governments pay for you. So the thing that you need to consider after you graduate from your program, you will have to go back to your own country to serve to them, like teach or work there, or you will have to pay it back with the interest to your government. The other scholarship option that you can apply is the American Association of University Women International Fellowship. So you need to be a full-time graduate or postdoctoral student to be able to eligible for this scholarship. It ranges between $20,000 to $50,000. So what are the admission considerations? So they look for your GPA and how many credits are you received during your undergraduate study, and if these are related to audiology or communication disorders field. And then they also check for recommendation letters and personal statement or essay, whichever they ask for, is an important criteria to make their decision about you. They want to see if you have a spirit of teamwork, your prior audiologic care experiences, these all, and also interviews is so important because you will get to know this university that you're applying, they will get to know you. So interview is one of the biggest, I think, admission consideration. So timeline for admission processing. First, initial application review. In here, once all documents have been received, the graduate admission staff will review application to verify that all required materials have been submitted and you have met the basic minimum requirement of the university for admission. And the second evaluation is department evaluation. The program director oversees the decision-making process of the application. The time between application and a decision varies between programs. At the end of the review process, the program director will deliver a recommendation for admission about conditional admission, admission or denied admission. And then you will be able to check your application strategy by using university's application website. So after you get accepted from a Doctor of Audiology degree, you will apply for F1 visa, and then the program will provide you an I-20 form, which will allow you to study in the United States and at that university legally. And yeah, let's talk about externship. So you will do this can be called as a residency or externship. So you will do your externship in your last year, and some of the externship placements provide stipend, some of them don't. So if the university provides stipend, if the externship placements provide a stipend, then sometimes this might be challenging because how they are going to pay you. You don't have work authorization. In this situation, the person or the community that you will need to contact with will be international office services. You will need to contact with them and you will need to learn how you can get paid during your residency, probably via stipend, but what will be the methods for that? You will need to find it out. And then there is, let me move this, externship timeline. It's called as a ASIN. So this is the Audiology Clinical Education Network. This offers a standardized timeline for application, interview, and offer and acceptance process. And this was a timeline for 2023. But as I said, not all the externship placements follow this timeline. Sometimes they start giving offers earlier, sometimes later, because they might not have fund during this timeline. So there will be application deadline, interview begin, interview complete, offers extended, and you will have a response deadline. So how to find your externship placement? This is important, and I think the main resource are herecareers.com. This is a good resource for you to be able to find the externship placement. You can apply to the externship placements, and they will schedule an interview with you after they review your application. Facebook groups can be another resource for you to find externship. There's a Facebook group named Audiology Fourth Year Externships. So they share their clinic or like information, private practice information in this Facebook group, and you can reach out to them. You can respond to their post under their post. And you can check with the site by your own. Sometimes you can just find the clinic, or if you know the clinic, you can just contact with them by your own. So from my own experiences, Veterans Administration hospitals, for these, we are not eligible. You have to be United citizen, and some of them don't state it in their requirement criteria. Some of them do, but some of them don't. I did apply and I wasted my time because I got interviewed, and then after the interview, I found out that actually I wasn't eligible, but it wasn't in their requirement list. So something to consider. There is no point if you're not United citizen, there is no point to apply for VA hospitals. The other thing is NIH. So you need to be a United States citizen to be able to apply to NIH, but there are other exceptions. If you are national or legal permanent residents, you can actually be eligible for NIH externship placement. And the other thing, which I met this criteria, citizen of a defense treaty allied country. So there are some countries, including Turkey, is actually helping you to meet this criteria. But even if you meet one of these criteria, you still need to be eligible to work in the United States. So let's get started the last part of our workshop, career options and work authorization. So after, before your graduation of Doctor of Audiology program, you will need to take praxis exam. So according to ASHA certification standards, you have to get and pass and get score 162 and above to be eligible for ASHA certification. You will need to get the score above. And also, all states require professional licensing for audiologists, though requirements might vary per state. So if you want to get a license from a state, you need to check their own state criteria before you get your license. So each state is different. So complete certification, professional certification in audiology is administered by two categories. Two organizations. These are ASHA. ASHA offers the certificate of clinical competence audiology, and you may apply for CCCA certification anytime after completing your AD degree. And the other one is the American Board of Audiology, ABA. So for this, ABA has 3 voluntary certifications to reaffirm your expertise in your chosen field. ABA certification, pediatric audiology specialty certification, and cochlear implant specialty certification. So after you finish your Doctor of Audiology program, where you can actually work, you can work at hospitals, clinics, private practices, universities, ENT offices, companies with hearing conservation programs. You can work in industry, K-12 schools, identify and work with students who have hearing loss. Unfortunately, we cannot work in government, for government, United States military, and Veterans Administration hospitals. So for these, you need to be a United citizen. But the other audiologists are eligible to work in this position. So I wanted to list it, but I just put star that as an international student, we are not eligible to work in these positions. So work authorization, I think this is important part for international student, because we want to know after we graduate if we will be eligible to work, how long we can work, so all these. So unfortunately, audiology doesn't classify as a STEM discipline. So STEM is I don't remember what it was acronym for, but so STEM actually gives 29 months. So the majors related to science, physics, they are accepted as a STEM, and they are able to work for 29 months. However, audiology is not one of them. And interestingly, the ophthalmology, I believe, no, not ophthalmology. I forgot what was that. Optometry. So optometry is accepted as a STEM, but not the audiology. So it's interesting, but whatever. So we are, after we graduate from Doctor of Audiology, we are eligible to work 12 months of optional practical training. So for the ones who are not familiar with OPT, is a optional practical training is a period during which graduate students with F1 studies and who have completed or have been pursuing their degrees are permitted by United Citizenship and Immigration Services to work for a year. And United States Department of Homeland Security released an interim final rule extending the period of OPT from 12 months to 29 months for qualified F1 non-immigrant students. So you can extend it up to 29 months, which is good. Also, after you work, the hospital or the place, the workplace that you are working might be sponsor for you to get your green card. In that situation, you can actually be eligible for the green card. Yeah, I think that's it. That's all that I want to talk today. Thank you so much for watching my webinar, my workshop. And as I said, I will leave a link below this YouTube workshop. And please, your feedback means a lot to me. And please fill the Google survey for me. Thank you again. Have a wonderful day.